Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of 10 Shed Shenanigans. My name is Noah and today I'm going to show you how to replace a carburetor in a Kohler 7000 series 22 horsepower on this Cub Cadet zero turn. So let's just get right into it. So the reason we're replacing this carburetor is it's spitting and sputtering, not running very well. Tried to clean out the carburetor, replace the air filter. I've done everything I can, but the way this carburetor is designed is there's no, typically when you drop down a float bowl, like you've seen me do before, you drop down the float bowl and the floats and the main jet and everything is right there. On this one, you drop down the float bowl, the main jet's sticking down, but you can't see the floats. And there's a cover over top of it that you can't see anything in, which makes it very difficult to try to clean it. So my best attempt, I cleaned it out, it started running good, and then it started kind of running funny again. So we're just going to replace the carburetor, and we went with Parts Tree. It's an OEM carburetor, and for the longevity of a lawnmower, this is my wife's uncle's. For the longevity of this lawnmower, I would rather put OEM parts on it. If you're just trying to fix up a lawnmower to, sell, it's up to you whether you want to put OEM parts or aftermarket parts. I typically put aftermarket parts because it's, for me to keep it, or for me to sell it, it's not worth putting OEM parts because of how expensive they are. But if you're trying to keep one, please put OEM parts on it. I'm going to quit yapping, and now I'm going to show you what you need to do first. So, first, you're going to unlock your air box. It just pops up just like that. This is a new air filter, so be very careful to not drop anything. There's 3 8mm bolts here, and then there's 2 10mm nuts that hold the air box cover, the air box on, that need to be removed. And I didn't bring my tools out with me. So let me go grab those really quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, tools are required. We have a 1/4-inch drive, 8mm, for the 3 screws that are up here. You're also going to have 2 vacuum lines, or a vacuum line and then a breather line that go into the air box. And you can see this little thing sticking up here. That's a crankcase breather. So that way you don't have, you don't want to build up excess pressure in your crankcase, and that will cause seals and stuff to blow, which is not good. So there's no clamps or anything holding them on; they just pop right down. So you just pull those 2. One's a fuel tank vent, and one is a crankcase vent. And then there's 2 studs with 10mm nuts on them. Loosen them up. Come on. Make sure that you keep track of all of your hardware. Let me see if I can find like a bowl or something to put them in. This little wood block will be perfect. It'll keep them off the ground. You want to keep track of all your hardware. 1, because when you go to put it back together, it's nice to know where all your hardware is. 2, you don't want to drop anything in the carburetor, because if you drop, a bolt in the carburetor, you drop a washer in the carburetor, you drop anything that's not supposed to be in the carburetor, it's not going to be good. You will mess something up. So just make sure that you don't put it, on top of the air box or anything like that. You want to minimize mistakes or accidents at all costs. But stud's a lot longer than I was expecting. And then we just kind of move the fuel line out of the way. There's your air box. Put it down, and then that shows you the carburetor. I'm going to bring y'all in a little bit closer so I can show y'all how to disconnect these rods and everything. It's not hard. It looks complicated. It looks like a lot. It's not, I promise. Anyone can do it. I'm just trying to show you the best way to do it, so if you're in a situation you don't have to pay someone to fix your lawnmower. Or if you do want to fix it, you at least know and you can look at it and go, hey, they did this right. So let me get y'all in a little bit closer. Got y'all zoomed in a little bit. I really got to clean up under my lean-to. I got a log splitter behind me. There's a tiller and a pressure washer. If anyone wants to buy an old Briggs & Stratton 5 horsepower walk behind tiller that needs, you know, a good bit of work, email me. My shop email is in the description of my channel. So we're gonna disconnect the fuel line and just kind of shove it out of the way where it's not going to be interfering with anything. And then we'll disconnect the fuel shut-off solenoid. Get that out of the way. And then you have your choke cable, and then you have your throttle cable, or rod. So let me see if y'all can see that. It's kind of in the way. There we go. This little black tab just slides over, and then you can get the rod and just go straight back with it, and then you just pull that string and the throttle cable's off. And then when you're getting your choke rod off, you'll pull it, get your choke rod, and it's just a twist. So the way this is shaped, kind of like an L, so it'll go in and then go down. But yeah, there's the whole carburetor off and in one piece, and we'll make sure that there's no gasket material or anything that's left, because the new one comes with a gasket. And remember which rod goes where and how it goes on, because the new carburetor does not come with rods and springs. So you just have to remember that. So let me get this new one unboxed, get the rods swapped over, and then I'll get it stuck back on. Alright, so I got it all back on. There is a little instruction sheet with this one from Kohler, where it's just for the throttle stop, and the old one has the press-in pin style, a little press pin. So I had to just tap the new press pin in there. And so yeah, but that's all in. I'm going to reinstall the air box now, and then we'll be good to fire it on up. And let me hook up the fuel line, because it's a lot easier to do when you can see it versus when you can't. Get that installed, and my pair of needle nose are in my back pocket. Now just get your needle nose pliers and squeeze this down, and just like that. And then you'll just line up the studs on the bottom side, kind of working around all the lines and everything. And then it'll just slide in place. So we'll get all this bolted back down, and then we'll be right as rain. So just remember your 3 8mm. You will have to kind of adjust your idle when you do a carburetor replacement like this, because the idle screw is going to be, you know, or the throttle screw is going to be kind of set back where it wants to just sit there and idle, and it could be too low, or so you want to kind of compare to where your old carburetor was, and then kind of base it off that. Because you have too much, then it won't run right, and it'll be running way too fast on idle. And if you have it too low, again, it won't run right. So I'm gonna get all this bolted up, stuck all back together, and then we'll adjust that idle a little bit. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. New carburetor's on. We got her running, and she's not spitting and sputtering anymore. So I appreciate everyone watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video, and hit the little bell icon so you don't miss any more content. And we'll see you next time on Tin Shed Shenanigans.